Honored veterans. But my interviews run on Thursdays, so sue me. One more veteran story for you, and this one is a good one. Angelo Dimarco was born and raised in Rochester and was fighting in Italy when he was captured. What happened after that, he never talked about, even to family, until the end. That's where his nephew, Daniel Annechino's effort begins. The local writer deciding to make his story into a book. We talked about More Than a Soldier earlier this week. Your uncle didn't talk much about the war, except when he was close to dying, and then your cousin is in the hospital with him, and what happened?
He had so many experiences that he was going to take him to the grave, but for some reason he was motivated to tell my cousin, his son, the story. And my cousin calls me immediately, and he tells me the story, and I said, Steve, I got to write this book.
Give me the synopsis of the story.
He went to Cisterna, and there was a massive battle there. He was in the 1st Battalion, and it literally got wiped out by the Nazis. For anyone who was alive, they ended up in a prison camp. But you have to be sure you let me tell you how he escaped, because it's too phenomenal to believe.
I'm here.
Can I do that right now?
I'm here. Let's do it.
They pile them in boxcars. There's 50 to 100 to a boxcar, and, you know, they head north. My uncle looks at the floor, and there was a floorboard sticking up about 3 inches or so, and he goes, walks over to it, starts yanking on it, and he pulls up the floorboard. He got 3 other Rangers to help him, and they made a hole big enough for an adult body to fit through. Now they were faced with the challenge, we could die on these railroad tracks, but do we really want to end up in Munich? Because we may never come home from there. But one by one, they fell through the hole, and when they landed on the railroad ties, you know, they stretched their arms out, they stretched their legs out, and they prayed. And once the train passed them, you know, they got up and they started taking off, and, you know, it was pretty amazing.
It was a slog from there behind enemy lines, an unrelenting hunt for food and shelter. Every day alive, a day that beats the odds. This lasted months.
He suffered through malaria, dehydration, starvation, literally. His feet were all blistered and black and blue, and just awful.
Until one day,
he ran into a platoon of French soldiers, and they had a little trouble communicating, but they checked him out thoroughly, found out he was the real deal, and made arrangements for him to go back to the United States.
What do you think it is about this story that would make it so good in the theaters?
I can't imagine how many people would do what he did as far as escaping. And I can't imagine a lot of people surviving 5 months behind enemy lines.
What a story. For a link to the book, go to rochesterfirst.com when you